Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week's video is part 2 of our 2-part episode covering our jam-packed day trip to Yokohama. After visiting the Cup Noodles Museum and the red brick warehouses in part 1, we spent the evening exploring Yokohama's Chinatown, which is where part 2 picks up. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, it really helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's go.
I've been enjoying Japanese food so much for the last like 3 weeks, but I am Chinese after all, and
You are? No one told me.
I need some Chinese food. And I've been asking Mike, are we having Chinese food today? Are we having Chinese food today? I think I've been saying for that for the last week and a half, and today is the day, and there's no way we're not gonna have it because we have landed ourselves in Chinatown, Yokohama!
We've heard really good things about this Chinatown, and we just got into it and we're already seeing lots of signs of Chinese life. So we're both very excited to explore and see what we find in here. Maybe there'll be some street food. There's definitely going to be a restaurant meal, and then lots of sights of Chinatown. The gate behind us is really impressive.
No kidding.
And if that is any indication of what we're going to find on the inside, then it should be a really fun night. Guys, we've only been exploring Chinatown for like 10 or 15 minutes, and this busy spot over here on the corner has caught our eye. The crowd drew us over for a look, and we were excited to find a place pumping out this style of dumplings that we love. The open kitchen is amazing. I love watching the chefs making the dumpling from scratch right in front of us. The skill and speed on display is impressive. I can't wait to get some of these in my mouth.
Okay, it's a good sign. It's plump, there's a nice bounce to it, and it's hefty. This is how I like to eat my...
Whoa, good catch.
This is how I like to eat my steamed fried mini pork buns. I dip the vinegar on the top, and it's soft at the top, so you can kind of bite a hole. You can see your juices, and before the juices make a run for it, or before I drop the dumpling again, I just suck all the yummy goodness of it out. And then the dumpling becomes more manageable. Then I can get some vinegar in here. The skin is nice and thin, the bottom super crispy, and the pork is juicy, and the pork is really well flavored with I don't think this one's flavored with anything. I think it's just the full-on pork juice that's making it so delicious.
I've opted to try a green one first. I haven't had a green one ever. I think whenever we get these, they're always just a white colored dough. So let's see if I can tell if this is flavored or not. But I'm gonna go with Nicole's trick because these are steaming hot and I don't want to burn myself on all the juice. That is just like drinking really flavorful pork juice. It's fatty and very, very, very tasty and almost gummy in the mouth from all of that, you know, that goodness that they've boiled out of the pork. That is excellent. And then what we like to do is replace that juice with some of the vinegar that we got from the stand there. Just put some vinegar inside the bun. So you can see I have my little hole, and now it's filled with vinegar, so I'm gonna go in for a bite. I might just pop the whole thing in. Let's just see how that goes. Actually, I need to determine if this is a flavored dough. Can't tell. It just tastes like normal dough to me. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. So let's get some vinegar in there and pop it in my mouth. The bottom of this one is very reminiscent of like a bottom dough of a Western style meat pie. It's got that kind of crunch through it, and it's soft because the juices of the pork have been sitting on it. But first my teeth kind of sink into the dumpling on the top, the actual meat, and it just, I don't know how, it squirted out more juice. It gave more juice. That's amazing. These are really good. Nicole is gonna give the green one a try, and then we're gonna scour the street and see what other goodies we can find.
That pork is concentrated pork goodness. Like, just think of a pork and they just squish it down into this like tiniest form, and all the flavor packed into a small little bucket. This is what it tastes like.
Do you think the wrapper is flavored?
To be honest, I can tell the difference between the green one and the white one, and I literally just had the white one. The green one I know is premium. They're more expensive, but I can't tell I can't taste the difference. I just know that they are both very, very good, and that they're fresh and delicious. Hey YouTube, I gotta be honest. Sometimes it's super hard to film these videos because what's in front of you is so delicious, and you want to sound like you're coherent, but meanwhile your brain's like, put the camera down so I can be alone with this puppy. And this is exactly what I'm feeling right now.
I'm gonna try and get that vision of a pig squished down to nothing and just juice out of my head and try and enjoy my second one. Thanks, Nicole. So I'm gonna go with the white one this time and see if I can tell the difference. Whoa, I almost squirted Nicole.
The hole!
Darn, I lost some juice.
See, YouTube, we weren't kidding when we told you that these dumplings are darn juicy.
Yeah, I just squirted all over the place. Yeah, can't tell the difference. I'm with you, Nicole. I don't know what the difference is.
So when you come to this dumpling place in Yokohama, you'll see a big lineup, and they push that the #1 dumpling set is the green and white one, which is what we got. And I think you guys should just skip the green and white one and get only white and save yourself a couple of bucks.
I would agree with you, Nicole. These are really good. I'm really happy with our first stop here in Chinatown. But I'm gonna polish these off. We gotta get out there and find something else. I hope things don't start closing.
I've been drinking buckets and buckets of Japanese green tea or sencha tea while I've been here for the last 3 weeks. But what I really have been missing now is just a good old cup of Chinese tea, whether it be jasmine or oolong, pu'er, anything. So I got my fix alright. I bought a pound of tea, of various Chinese tea for the last week that we're here.
As we've been walking around this Chinatown, I've realized two things. One, it is massive. It's a really big Chinatown.
Well, it is the biggest Chinatown in Japan.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I did not realize that. Oh, that kind of makes sense then. And then two, it feels like it was made to explore.
Yes.
Like we did not research Chinatown itself. Really, we knew that it had a good one. We heard a lot of good things about Chinatown here in Yokohama, but we didn't look for specific things. We just came here with the intent to look around. We just turned a corner here after buying that tea, and this amazing temple just popped out of nowhere for us, and I'm just like blown away by the gate. Unfortunately, the temple itself is under construction, but the gate is just incredible.
It's spectacular. It's just a sight that you're just like, you were saying that it's similar to some of the temples that we've seen in Hong Kong, but on steroids.
Yeah, on steroids, and maybe part of it's because it looks so newly lacquered, like that it's gleaming under the lights. A lot of the stuff we'd see in Hong Kong has aged, which in itself is very beautiful, But the shininess of it just kind of grabs you.
It's shiny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a very good description. It is very, very shiny.
Yeah. Glad it's under construction since it's closed and we can't go in, so I don't feel like we've missed anything. But I'm really happy we just happened to turn the corner and see this.
Yeah, we were staring at the gates just on its own for like 5 minutes, looking at all the details and going, ooh, ah.
Here, let's show you some of those details. This Chinatown, like no other I've ever experienced, captures the craziness of Hong Kong. You know, like in the area that we were living at when we were working remotely there last year actually, we were staying in Jordan, and the neon and the lights and the excitement and all the restaurants, I've never seen that captured quite like Yokohama has captured it
They've
before.
captured it and cleaned it up.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, it's just a sight for the eyes, or a feast for the eyes, I guess would be a better way of saying it. Walking down all the red lanterns and all of a sudden that they turn yellow, and then you realize it's a snaking dragon above your head, and then all these gates all over the place marking different roads and entrances into Chinatown. Some of them are really big and elaborate, some of them are pretty narrow to fit in between buildings, and then they open up into like a little narrow alleyway of restaurants and shops.
I like the narrow ones because you're not expecting it to have such a grand entrance for an alleyway.
You just kind of get past the first building to such a degree that you can see it, and it just kind of pops out of nowhere. But I just loving wandering around. I'm having a really hard time finding some more street food to go along with those dumplings because A, we're getting close to dinner, I don't want to ruin my appetite, and B, there's just too many options. I can't choose just one. I feel like I need to hit like 3 or 4. So maybe those dumplings were our only little snack, amuse-bouche to dinner.
Our socks had been completely and utterly blown off by the last temple we saw, and we thought that must be the temple in all of Chinatown, and we saw the one cultural bit there was to see.
We were wrong.
So wrong.
We've been looking for a restaurant for dinner. It seems like a lot of the restaurants do a sort of a all-you-can-eat set menu, which is a huge menu. You just choose anything off it, but that's not quite what we feel like, especially after having those dumplings. So we've been hunting for a different type of restaurant. But in that hunt, we went down a small alleyway, which we only went down because you saw some restaurants.
Yes.
We would have totally just skipped it. And at the end of it, we saw this roof line of these amazing dragons, and we're wondering, what is that? And then we thought at first that that was all we could see because it kind of looked like it was gated off. And then we turned the corner, and this is what we saw. This amazing tomb. This is the, what did I say it was?
Emperor Guan's shrine.
Yes. Emperor Guan's shrine. I think I need some food. So this is Emperor Guan's shrine of Yokohama, and I can't even speak.
There's no words.
Yeah.
Like, the word wow is nowhere near capable of encompassing the greatness of the thing behind me. Just the dragons on the roof, sitting on the roof, the colors, just I could stare at that thing for a long time and not be tired of it.
The other thing I really like that you don't see too often outside of China is the carvings, the stone
marble
carvings along the stairs going up of dragons. You'd see that everywhere in China, but you see it once in a while. I've seen it once in a while outside of China. It's very reminiscent of the Temple of Heaven for me, actually. The front of this temple or this shrine, it has those carvings, and it also has the banisters or the elaborate kind of carved stone banisters going up the stairs. That was also huge in Temple of Heaven. Remember that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm just dazzled by the color right now. Just this temple is dazzling.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Well, it's really amazing.
in a bit of a dilemma. I really felt like Chinese food, but nothing jumped out at me because it seemed like most of the restaurants were all you can eat. They're advertising a set price and you get 150 items, and that wasn't something that we were into. And also it was a vibe that we were not comfortable with in Japan, where they have a maitre d' outside, and maitre d' is not quite the word, a person, yelling person with a menu, trying to shove their menu in your face and kind of ushering you into their establishment. And a lot of, like, I think 80% of these establishments were very empty inside. So it didn't inspire
confidence
at all. If we were here with a guide, or we were here with somebody who was in the know, I'm sure there's tons of good food in there, but
we're not in the know.
no.
I'm chuckling slightly because who would have thought you were craving Chinese food so badly?
I was.
Who would have thought that we'd go to Chinatown and have a problem finding Chinese food? I'm a bit shocked about the all-you-can-eat.
Yeah.
It's a new concept. I've never heard of this before. It's like going to a regular Chinese restaurant and their whole menu is available at one set price.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So,
But it's crazy because there's literally hundreds of restaurants in there, and
they're all doing it.
They're all doing it.
Yeah.
Except for a select few, but they were like super high end.
Yeah.
With like $4 signs behind it on like Google, so we're like,
yeah, we'll
not
skip. So that's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just pack it in and head back home. We did 3 amazing things with that little bonus park on the way over here. I really enjoyed Chinatown.
I did.
It's very disappointing that we couldn't have dinner, or we didn't find a place to have dinner, but walking around Chinatown, all the sights, the gates, those buns were good, the temple, just amazing. Really amazing. I would still recommend coming and checking this out.
I think we're also tired too, which is another reason we're like, maybe we should get back to our own neighborhood, because it's like a 40-minute train trek in front of us, right? No, there's longer because there's an accident apparently.
Yeah, some kind of accident. But I think if I knew that this was all you can eat type of thing, I probably would have come hungry with that in mind.
Yes.
Picked one of them that had a really high rating on Google, and then just gone for it. But we're kind of not starving, and this wasn't what we were looking for, so that's why we're gonna take a pass. So don't take a pass on our account. If this, like, Chinatown's amazing, you should come visit, and if you come hungry, I think you probably get some really good food, because some of these places did have people in them. You just have to find the right one. We just don't want the all you can eat. So we are gonna head over to the train station and jump on a train and get home, and Japanese food tonight.
It's that full, eh?
Yep, right to the brim, overflowing, and then you kind of have to drink it on the table until you get it down a bit that you can lift it. I have to bit more here.
I feel like I should give you a pat on the head and say, good, Michael, good.
There we go. Good to go. Shall we try some of the sashimi?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the table charge. They give you some really nice sashimi here. I think this is the only place that I can remember that doesn't have an English menu. So it's loading up Google, pointing at pictures, trying to translate the menu. And last time it worked out really well. We came here on our second night and it was so good. We've been wanting to come back ever since. And since the Chinese meal didn't work out tonight, we thought, let's come back here.
Was this the very first restaurant we ate at in Ikebukuro? Yeah. Wow, that was so long ago, I don't even remember.
The day after this typhoon that kept us locked up in our place for a whole day, video up here, we decided to come here for dinner. And yeah, that was our first sort of exploration around the area, because we basically came in on a Friday, got our bags to the Airbnb, went and got some groceries for the next day, which was the typhoon day, and then we were sort of hunkered down all day and all night at the Airbnb during the typhoon. So yeah, it's been a while. It's almost been a month.
This isn't a sushi restaurant, it's an izakaya, but for some reason I just love having their sashimi here. It's served on a bed of ice, and that extra chill just gives that fish an extra pop that my mouth absolutely loves. Our next dish has come, and when Mike was filming the B-roll, I swear, I was salivating. I just wanted him to put the camera down so that I could have a go at it. And what it is a giant asparagus wrapped with pork, and then he blowtorched the thing. It came with 2 sauces, came with miso and mayonnaise. So I smeared the top of my piece with miso. Oh, I know this is gonna be good. It's not good. It's amazing. The pork is so creamy. The miso just gives it that like a buttery taste, and the asparagus is so fresh and delicious. This is such a good call.
Nicole's right, the asparagus is really good. The meat and the asparagus combo is such a classic, and when it's done well like this is, it's so enjoyable to eat. It's really shocking that this thick asparagus is not woodsy. It's because it's been peeled and prepared properly. It's super soft, and the meat just kind of juices it up. It's really, really good. I could eat 5 plates of this asparagus. When we were here last time we got asparagus, it was not wrapped in meat, and it was also extremely good. And I'm shocked that they were able to up their game on the asparagus. I guess by wrapping it in meat. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? But this is so good.
I shamelessly polished off my wing. And then I went ahead and polished off Michael's. A sign of a super, super good dish is just when you want more. I'm eating the first one, and then I'm already eyeing the next piece, and I just don't want the dish to end. And they've mastered making these wings perfectly. They're so well seasoned, and the skin has such a good snap to it. Wings.
I ordered a rice ball. They have onigiri here on the menu. I'm not sure what's in it, but it's come to the table, and I'm surprised to see that it's grilled. He must have blowtorched it like he did our asparagus. So I'm going to give this a go. I still have no idea what's in it, but the charred outside and the grilled rice is really good. It's crunchy on the outside. It gives you that sort of charcoal flavor, like you get a bit of that grilled flavor come through. It's not an onigiri that's been stuffed. The flavor's been mixed into the rice and then formed into an onigiri ball. I think what really makes it is that it's been grilled. The outside crunchy layer is just fantastic. I could eat 3 of these, 4, 5. I could just eat a ton of these. These are really good. Our next dish came, and it is roast pork. I don't know how they've made a lean cut of pork taste so amazing and retain so much juice, but it is really juicy. The fat looks like it's just on the verge of liquefying, so as you eat it, it starts to melt in your mouth, and it's so good. This dish is, I wish I could make pork like this.
So do I.
But I'm just not qualified to be cooking pork apparently. This is really well done. It's not even that pink if you look at the pork, but it's so juicy and it's so flavorful. The outside has a really nice crust on it. This is the last dish we ordered. I have a feeling we're gonna have to order some more. I'm really hungry still, and the food here is so good. This is our last chance to come here. It's time to double down. Round 2 begins. Nicole is dubious about round 2, but we put an order in, And our first item from round 2 has shown up. It is a tempura chicken. It's, if I remember correctly, because we had this the first time we came, it's a white meat with a really light batter, tempura batter. It's nice and hot, but it's not too hot that you can't eat it. And it's super juicy. There's just juice running out of this chicken. This is so good. I don't even know how to explain it more than it's chicken. It's super juicy and it's lightly battered. It's a bit crunchy, but it's really thin.
It tastes clean. It's not a greasy chicken.
Nicole's saying that it tastes clean. It's not greasy. It doesn't feel like a heavy deep fried chicken. Let's check in with Nicole and see what she thinks.
So as Michael said, it's tempura chicken, and I was skeptical because I'm used to having tempura either shrimps or vegetables, and chicken's not something that is common. But I must say that, as you can see, I've been eating it. I must say that the batter, the light batter around the chicken adds a lot of flavor and general goodness to this dish.
I think the batter helps hold in the moisture actually.
It's the perfect temperature. The chef has just really made it a simple dish, very delicious. Our last dish is the porridge. When we ordered it from the photo, our waiter actually looked it up, and the translation was miscellaneous pot. Sounded good to us. And I must say, it's a really pleasant way to finish off a perfect meal. I really like the texture of this pot. Okay, when it came out, it was lava hot. It was bubbling like crazy, and we actually had to wait before we dug into it. What I really like about it is the flavor is very subtle and mild, but at the same time, very tasty and very clean, and it just feels like a just nice way to wash down all the other dishes that I've had for the night. Here's to porridge, our miscellaneous pot.
The name miscellaneous pot might make you think of all of the stuff that's left over in the kitchen just thrown in the pot, but I don't think that's true. I think this is very meticulously made. It had mushrooms, it had rice, broth, egg. There was a couple meatballs. It was topped with all kinds of chives. And what really stood out to me was the rice actually, because the rice was cooked just to the point of it almost going mushy. It still holds together, but it's super soft. And I love the way that egg was poured in and stirred through it very gently so it held together. So you can still get little bits of the egg white or the egg yolk. This, as Nicole said, was a perfect way to end the meal. Just sort of like a good palate cleanser and help wash down all that food. But we are done here. We're gonna finish up this miscellaneous pot and then we're gonna head home. So we'll see you along the way. Oh, that meal was so good.
That was absolutely delicious.
I am ready to crawl into bed, full, slightly drunk, and very tired.
But before we crawl into bed, we wanted to share a little bit of behind the scenes with us. Tonight, when we were at Yokohama, we were really struggling with whether to eat there or not, because we love making YouTube videos and we love taking you on our adventures. And sometimes we have to struggle with content and what we feel like doing. Tonight, dinner at Yokohama just did not work for us, but we really did struggle because we felt like we brought you there and you were expecting Chinese food, but at the end of the day, we definitely made the decision for our tummies.
Yeah, I'm happy we did.
Yeah. Because
this place we went to tonight, the izakaya, literally just down the street from where we've been living, is so good. That meal just blew my socks off.
Yeah.
It's really good. They're really friendly there. They don't speak English too well. There's no English menu, but they're willing to work with you, and we're working with them, and it just works out. We get the meal that we wanted, and we talked to them a little bit at the end of the meal. We basically insulted them with our horrible Japanese, and they got a chuckle.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, so we made the right call. So sorry if you wanted to see Chinese food tonight.
We wanted to show it to you.
Yeah,
we really did.
It just didn't work out. We had Japanese food tonight. So we're gonna go to bed, get a good sleep, and then take you on our adventures tomorrow and see what we get up to. Have a good night.
Night.
Thanks so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed part 2 of our day trip to Yokohama, exploring its epic Chinatown. If you did, please don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. We'll see you next week.